from Mind Apples, which is a voluntary organisation tackling mental health, which is a problem which is costing the country a huge amount of money. And we started off a conversation about really how do we get some support to leverage all of this amazing voluntary time that we're getting. So if we're stimulating a massive amount of supply of volunteers, then how are we also stimulating the demand and helping people make the most of that investment? We had a kind of free-ranging discussion, but I think the important principle is that coordinating volunteers isn't free. It's full-time work, and it can't be a voluntary role in itself. So we need to find a way of mapping the value better of what these projects are giving back. The public sector needs to articulate its priorities well, and it needs to help these unfunded organisations to articulate and evaluate how they're making a contribution back. And then there's the question of how do we actually pay for it. We're talking about maybe a stipend, potentially. We can't rely on vicars' wives anymore to coordinate our local efforts because we've gutted the church infrastructure. So apart from in some religious communities, then how are we actually getting all the funding for this? The government really can't afford it. Private sector probably can't afford it. There aren't really any funds set up for it, so perhaps we need to channel some of that money towards it. And there's also a crowdfunding principle. City patrons over in Canada, there's an idea of potentially people saying, I'm creating value for our society in these ways, would you like to fund me to keep doing this work? But I think the question really is, if you've got 50 people picking up litter in your local square mile, then are you expected to coordinate that for free, or could we maybe give you a bit of money so that you could keep doing your good work, because we're clearly getting a lot of value out of that big society?
Lovely, thank you so much.